Welcome. My name is Matt Solomon, Vice President of Business Development at Kaseya. I'm very excited to do our inaugural hot seat, MSP hot seat with Ian Evans of eTech. And really the purpose of this is to bring the MSP community together, get to know everybody a little bit better, and ask some questions that maybe not everybody knows. So Ian, thank you so much for being willing to be the first guest.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity.
Absolutely. So Ian, maybe just quick, maybe a little elevator pitch about who you are and where you're from and things like that.
Sure, Matt. And again, I appreciate the opportunity. I think I met you maybe about 3 years ago at a roadshow, and you demoed dark web monitoring. I was there with two of my staff, and they said, Ian, we have to get that right away. This just has amazing value of what we're trying to offer to our customers. So yeah, again, I'm also batting leadoff as your first MSP to present. So yeah, eTech has been around quite a while. You know, I started my managed services around 2005, and I was the only person doing IT support. And then, you know, it grew throughout that time. So as of today, we have about 20 people working for us. Most of them are full-time employees, and we're really busy right now, especially during the pandemic. And we've helped, you know, quite a lot of customers in relation to, you know, cybersecurity awareness, dark web monitoring, and a lot of the other managed services, including business continuity. So again, thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive into the 5 questions. That's what the hot seat's about. I don't know that it's that hot, but we'll jump in. The first one, I asked this the other day on LinkedIn, and I just thought it brought up really fun things to hear from people, which is, what was your first job, and what was a lesson you learned that still applies to business today for you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because, you know, I've been around for a number of years now. And I think my first real job was probably the early 90s. And I was working for a sporting association in the province of Ontario. And it was my first job, and they hired me to manage the IT systems, and my position was operations coordinator. So, you know, obviously being a person of color, working in a, you know, office where I was the only person of color. So, you know, it could be quite intimidating for me. But, you know, I learned that, you know, I respect people, people respect me too. And it was a great experience for me. I worked there for over 10 years. And yeah, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about people. And what I learned, probably my takeaway, is that technology is only a tool that we use, but everything we do is about just customer service and just helping our customers achieve what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. No, it's always a good lesson. The customer experience is so important, especially these days, right?
It's
Every
critical.
customer is expecting more, I think, than ever before right now. So, who in the business world has been a big influence over you, and why?
Yeah, again, when I think back, there was one individual that I met when I was working for this sports association. It was around 95, and you know, he submitted an RFP, and he was a computer consultant. I wasn't familiar with that industry at the time. And I told him, I like what you do. I like that you own your company, and I would like to do that one of these days. So, you know, and I also told him that, yes, I do want to work for you. So when the opportunity presented itself, his name is Andrew Sherwin, I had an opportunity to work for him. And that was another very positive relationship, where I worked for this gentleman for about 10 years. And I learned about, again, working in the industry, and it's now a 25-year relationship. Wow. And I consider this person my business coach or IT mentor. So, you know, very, very good relationship. So it's really important to, if you can, you know, establish relationships with people and try and maintain them over the years to see how you grow as an individual. So it's, you know, very important. And I really cherish that relationship.
Yeah, well, you should be sure to tag Andrew when this video goes, so
I will, for
he
sure.
sees it. But no, that's I think that's so important. It's like, yeah, you don't do it alone. Like there's always people there to help, and especially in this community, right? The MSP community is just unbelievable with the amount of resources and effort that people will do to help other people succeed. It's really amazing.
Yes, for sure.
So next question, what changes in your management style have you had to make since COVID, if any? Has there been any changes?
Yeah, of course there are changes, but in terms of our management style, because I mean, for an established MSP, shifting to working from home was seamless because my staff do that as it is now to support our customers. So in terms of that, there were not a lot of changes. However, we really had to lean heavily on our solutions. Especially Kaseya and using the dark web monitoring because our customers really rely on us for our expertise. So it's important for them to know that we're monitoring the security of their systems. So again, just using the tools, open communication with staff. We tend to meet probably more now than what we did prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Instead of monthly staff meetings, definitely it's critical to meet with your team at least once a week. So everyone is engaged weekly because, also working from home, this was thrown upon us. So for some people, it doesn't work well, some isolation, some mental health challenges that people are dealing with.
Yeah.
So for our organization, it was very important that we all stay connected on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. I mean, I've heard stories where the top technicians at an MSP were actually the ones struggling the most being
Right.
remote. So yeah, and look, each person's got an individual situation. It could be kids at home. It's a very
Exactly.
interesting
Yeah.
dynamic, and it has to be treated somewhat differently for each
Yeah.
person. So
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
yeah. So with the next question, it's kind of open ended. I guess it could be work related. It could be just that you use for fun. Your favorite
Yeah.
technology tool that you have.
Well, favorite technology. I spend too much time on Twitter. That is, one of the tools that keeps me definitely informed.
Yeah.
However, business related, I find that the companies that are able to actually not treat, but teach MSPs how to do their business. There's been a few that we've been very fortunate to work with, including Kaseya, where yeah, they sell their product and we understand that, but they teach you how to, even write down to a presentation. Just plug in your logo and you can now present to your a lead or something like that. So the tools over there, the tools that are more beneficial are the ones that teach us as an MSP how to be an MSP and how to be a good MSP. So I hope I explained myself properly there.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I know you're referring a little bit to the powered services. So having some of those, having the vendor relationships and not just say any of the vendors that you're working with, um, leveraging those right now, particularly just because there's so many opportunities to work with your vendors, to do presentations, subject matter expertise, things like that. So
Yes,
absolutely.
thank you.
So last question on the hot seat. What have you learned about your customers during these times? Have you noticed anything different on the customer side of things?
They're definitely leaning on us more for our expertise because as much as a managed service provider, we spend a lot of time talking to our customers about cybersecurity, dark web monitoring, disaster recovery services, and we find that as much as we talk to them, they still were not prepared, right?
Yeah.
So definitely the first 3 to 4 weeks when the pandemic hit and everyone was forced to work from home, for the first 3 to 4 weeks, it was just supporting customers working from home. So shifting from working from the office to working from that home environment. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, what we learned is that our customers are looking for a service provider that has a lot of knowledge about the industry, a lot of knowledge about their business, and can be a partner for many years to come. Because if they're not happy with you, they can easily find someone else to replace you and do the services that you do.
No, absolutely. It's a very, very
Yeah,
valid point. Customers are, there's no question they're asking more, but they're demanding more. And they have to feel like it's a real relationship, not just a
for sure.
contract, things like that.
Yeah.
So Ian, look, I greatly appreciate you coming on the hot seat, being the first MSP to join us. And if any other MSPs are listening and would like to join the hot seat, I'll put my email address up there. You're welcome to send me an email and get on the list. And again, Ian, thank you so much for doing this today.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome, and it was great to see you today. Thanks.